Does anybody see live yet? Okay. Good morning. Welcome to the September 25th SPIT committee meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Looking to gain approval for the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. First up, approval of the minutes from June 26th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Ms. Tahira for the final site contract renewal.
Yes, good morning, board members and cabinet members and directors. I'm coming before you this morning for a renewal contract for Final Site, which is our host for our website, our mass communication system, and our mobile app. A few years ago, Final Site acquired Blackboard, which is now, we're all under the Final Site umbrella right now. It is time to update our website, our new template, and the contract is before you for approval for this committee and then to the full board, please.
All right, has everyone had a chance to review? Tyra, do you maybe want to flash it up and walk us through?
Sure. So the contract is for $169,415. Our current contract is at $158,380, and our budget is for $172, so we are well within budget for this. I'm super excited about this project because Final Site has upgraded a lot of its templates, giving us a little bit more of a modern look and feel for a new website. Also, it has a lot of enhancements around accessibility, things that we could do for different apps within the website. And this will also be for all the district site and all 53 schools. So it encompasses all of those things. Get a little bit of more access for our mass notification system. They've upgraded the number of text characters that we could do for a text message. They've updated a little more things that we could do with adding languages and things like that. So super excited about this new template. It won't be a huge change for our school communicators and my team who manage the websites. And so that's what we have before you today.
Is this the current means that we have to send out mass communications?
Well, right now we have Connect 5, which is call, email, and text. And with Final Site, it will be the same. There are just a couple of enhancements to the new portal and template that we could do on the back end. But we use all three of those when we send messages out: email, phone call, text message, and the mobile app.
So are we migrating over to just Final Site now for communications? Is that what I just
Yeah,
heard?
so it's a little confusing. Blackboard is where we've been for years. Final Site bought out Blackboard and kept a lot of the same features. And so now we'll totally be on Final Site moving forward. Right now we're in the middle of kind of both. Everything with Blackboard will sunset September of 2025.
Let me repeat that statement. So the current means that we have for mass communication, are we
They will
migrating away
remain.
from that?
No, they will remain.
So we'll have two means
We'll have
of
one. We
communication?
will all be on Final Site.
Okay, so there's no
Yes.
separate contract for the other.
No, no.
Okay, got it. So everything is Final Site.
Correct.
It's just under one banner. Okay.
Correct.
So
Thank you.
the website changes will go into effect September of 25?
Correct. We're
Okay.
hoping to launch in August in time for back to school, but no later than September. So as soon as the contract is approved, hopefully we could get going with starting to migrate content from all of the school pages, the department pages, the district page into a new website template.
And then will there
Great.
be like a little bit of like FYI to parents? Because I know when we did the last change, it was a big change, like to find the information parents would want.
Yes,
Okay.
this will be my third website refresh. Being here for the 10 years I've been here, we always provide employees and parents with a new roadmap as to where to find information. This template should not be as different as the last one. From the template before now to the one we currently have was very drastic. The one from now to the next one will not be as different.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Are you looking for approval for all 5 years? That's what was in the agreement. This isn't just a 1 year that we're looking for, right? We're looking for a 5 year contract extension.
That is correct. And then each year we do sign a new agreement, but the total agreement for right now is for the total 5 years. If there was something to happen that we would need to pull out or make changes, I think we would do that within the year-to-year contract.
Okay. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? All right. If none, I will look for a motion to approve the contract extension for Final Site.
So moved. Second.
All right. So I have Matt with the motion and Sarah with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0.
Thank you.
All right. Chris Conway, Infinite Campus status update. I'm not hearing anything. I don't know if you're
Can't hear you.
getting out the headphones.
Did we lose Chris?
No, he's here. He's getting the headphones out.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Awesome.
It's always with Zoom. Teams and Zoom, they flip back and forth. My apologies.
No
I'm
worries.
pleased to come before you today to talk about the progress we've made with Infinite Campus. And so to set the table and remind everybody here, Infinite Campus is the product that the state of North Carolina has chosen to replace Power School by the beginning of the 25-26 school year for all districts in the state of North Carolina. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Can you go ahead and see that?
No, now we can.
Yes.
Excellent. So Mr. Parker, who unfortunately cannot be here today, has shared this roadmap with you about our progress that we would take to transition to the new student information system. School systems had the choice of either starting in the 24-25 school year, those would be phase 1 schools, or the 25-26 school year, that's us, phase 2. Right now, the vast majority of schools that chose to go on at the beginning are very small public schools or charters. But as you can see, this is the timeline that Union County said they would go through to plan, prepare, train, and publicize about the change to Infinite Campus. And I'm happy to say that as of right now, we have met all of our Q1 goals, and we are either met all of our Q2 goals, or we are in the process of continuing to meet them and extend them beyond. And I'll elaborate more about that on the next slide. Q3, I would just say would be our testing and validation phase, and Q4, I'm going to say would be our final verification and publication and final training quarter, as far as how we're going to approach this conversion to Infinite Campus. As far as the progress we have made, this is in our current quarter. This is a mix of what we currently had on the roadmap of tasks that we wanted to get done, and also feedback we have received from phase 1 schools and their progress in Infinite Campus. I am not going to sugarcoat some of this. The phase 1 schools have had some issues with their migration to Infinite Campus. This is simply because we are taking on a new product for the entire state, and the transition has been tough for them. So when we talk about the document and processes, that is a reflection of us finding out from phase one schools that while they can get into the system, some of their users are having trouble understanding how to perform key tasks that are very important. And we're understanding that it's a report somebody has done every time, every year at the same point, and they just remember how to do it. They're now in a new system, and the state hasn't provided the documentation yet on how to accomplish that. We're trying to make sure that we're ahead of the game, and we have the steps, how to run this report, how to do progress reports. We have that available for our staff. The training isn't just going to be static to quarter two. It is going to have to be ongoing because the change is very comprehensive for all users. So we want to make sure that our key users, particularly data managers, will have significant training, not just now, but into second semester and going into the summer to make sure that when July 1 rolls around and Power School is gone completely, they will be able to function within Infinite Campus. And ideally, we will be hearing from our project management team from Infinite Campus within the next few weeks, and we can start working in our test environment and start working on our data. Our future goals, as I mentioned, is going to be verifying our data that we wanted to send to Infinite Campus. They're going to have to give us some timelines on what data they need when, so that they can start putting it into our sandbox environment or our test environment. And then once we have been able to verify our data is clean and is accepted and working, we can then test out the feeds that Infinite Campus will send to important products like transportation, or that we can accept information from ECATS, Educator's Handbook, and any other source that we currently use in Power School that we would need to transition over in 25, 26. And lastly, we will start talking with our schools about information that they need to make sure that they have available to them in case they cannot access something right away when we first transition to Infinite Campus. One of the other issues that phase one schools have been struggling with is Infinite Campus has, at this point, not been able to produce features that they currently need to be able to do. An example would be transcripts that current high school seniors need to use to apply to college. They cannot produce them accurately through Infinite Campus right now. So they're having to go back to Power School and grab historical transcripts and use those to send. I don't anticipate something of that nature being not functionable when we transition to Infinite Campus next school year. This is just something that we are seeing as an issue, and we're trying to make sure that we're being proactive and informing all of our key departments and schools about what information they should make sure they have available just in case. And at the time, I will take any questions you may have.
I noticed you said pass data to transportation and others. How integrated is this solution with other platforms and systems within our school district?
From what I've seen, all of the features that we currently either export out to or we send data to or receive data from, they also can do the same. They have the same links. They've already shared the sequencing tables on how to either send data or receive data. We have access to that portal where they're sharing it with phase one and phase two schools. And our technology services team has already been investigating that, and they can see the positives with it, already sharing all that out.
Was it like a total rewrite of interface files, or was
it's
pretty much plug and play?
SQL to a degree, but the table headers change. The language that they use to identify key pieces of data are different. It's the same in the back end as it will be in the front end. What a staff member used to click to go see historical grades for a student, it's the same information. It's just under a different name. And when you click on it, the title is something different. It'll be the same on the back end. It's just it's converting the tables to match what they're asking for, how it's mapped.
Do we have implementation resources from the party, from DPI managing this, or is this all on us? Okay.
There are implementation documents that they have been providing. Infinite Campus also has a very robust knowledge base of information on how to do setup. But we also have to be mindful that they serve a lot of states. So the documentation that is North Carolina centric is constantly being built. And it's kind of like we're building the plane as we fly it, kind of mindset that I see is happening. Hence why I'm very happy we are not a phase 1 school, that we're a phase 2 school.
Okay. Great. Any other questions for Mr. Conway? All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate the progress and thanks for the update.
Thank you. I'll stop sharing.
All right. Up next, Mr. Joyner, transportation update.
Good morning again, everyone. I'm gonna share my
Good morning.
screen and can you guys tell me if you see it?
We can see it.
Perfect. Okay. So just a quick staffing update. Last year when we ended the 23-24 school year, we were running 203 buses and we ended with 12 driver vacancies. To start this school year, we started with 202 buses and we started with 16 driver vacancies. We now have 15. We were able to get a driver license this Monday, so we're down to 15. We have 61 routed doubles in the morning, 98 routed doubles in the afternoon. In our pipeline, we have 3 licensed drivers that are waiting DMV certification. These are folks that came to us with a valid CDL with the PNS endorsements like they're required. However, they still have to do a 3-day or 2-day refresher training with DMV instructors, so they are awaiting that process. But they are here and they're ready to go as soon as she puts them through the recertification process. I am very pleased to say that yesterday we started our largest bus class that we've had in 2 years. We have 16 people in that class. Last month was our second largest, and we had 9 folks in that class. So we're very excited to see an uptick in our applicants. I just want to give a quick shout out to our HR team. We have a wonderful partnership with the folks in HR. They've recently restructured, and it's been very valuable to us in getting these people quickly brought on, and it's been really helpful for us. In total, we've got 19 trainees working through the licensing process right now. Like I said, 16 of those are in bus class, and we've got 3 that are working through some DOT medical issues and waiting for behind the wheel training. Since July 1st, we have had 16 new licensed bus drivers come in or apply, and 72 trainees apply. But of course, not everyone makes the cut, background checks and that type of thing. So any questions on the vacancy or the staffing updates before I move on?
Would
We
you
stack
say
up
out of,
next to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, how do we stack up next to some of the neighboring counties?
So I reached out to 3 of the surrounding counties yesterday. So Cabarrus, the director told me they have 40 vacancies. Charlotte Mecklenburg, they've got 42 vacancies, and then they have an additional 37 people on leave. And Stanley County has 4 vacancies, but Stanley County is much smaller, so that's a lot for Stanley. So, and Anson, I didn't reach out to Anson. Anson, their school staff still drives buses and that type thing. They're structured quite differently than we are, so comparing us to them wouldn't be as accurate. So, any other questions?
Would you say out of the 72 trainees, like what percent make it through?
Maybe 20 to 30.
20%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when they apply, I mean, we put them on a list and start working through them. And some people just don't, their driving records they don't meet the criteria once we run, because we run everybody's license through Saddles, which is the driver's license system, to see if they're eligible. And quite a few people don't meet those eligibility requirements
Okay,
for
thank
various
you.
reasons.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's great to hear about the progress on the recruiting and applicant front. What about retention? How are we doing on retention? Have we had a lot of turnover?
Retirees, we have seen some retirees. We've got a couple retirements coming up that I'm aware of, but our resignations seem to have gone down over the summer, and the increasing the driver rate has helped significantly. So
I don't know if, sorry to put you on the spot, but is there anything that you need from the board as far as like retention goes? Are there any things that really stand out from a bus driver standpoint that could be brought to our attention?
I'm still gathering feedback from some. We put out a survey at the end of last year and asked about we had an attendance bonus last year, or attendance incentive last year, and the drivers would have preferred to have an increase in pay, and so we've done that. I mean, I like to constantly gather feedback from them, so that's something I can definitely bring back to the table at a later date if that's.
I have a question. It's Sandra.
Yes.
I have a question about that, about the bonuses or
Sure.
the attendance incentive thing. Because, we had there was just some, I guess, from what I've heard, some issues are just not, I know you're saying some people did like the incentive, but some people didn't, because they felt that, some people continued, they attended, or they continued to work, and the people that still didn't go to work didn't go, and then they felt like they kind of got a little, what's the word, kind of, they didn't really benefit from this incentive, I guess. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the pay. Like, I know we increased their pay some and whatnot, or we approved that. I mean, have they all, do the bus drivers, do they all know what their new base pay is, all that kind of stuff? I mean, because I know there's some people that weren't aware, and there was no clarity. I'm just kind of trying to make sure that everyone's on the same page. And, if we are going to do these surveys or whatnot, that, we kind of have, again, everyone's on the same page with what's going on. I don't know if that makes any sense. We've just had some people complaining, or just not super happy about that whole incentive thing, and then the taking it away, and the bonus, and the increase in pay, and that kind of thing. I'm trying to figure out what's happening there.
Yeah, so we at the end of last year, we offered folks to sign up to come in and have a meeting like we've done in the past, to get because we want to gather their input and see what they need from us, get their ideas. Out of that meeting, only 7 folks showed up. So we decided to do a survey. We emailed the survey link, and we also posted the survey. Our GPS provider has a driver app that we use. It's on all the tablets on the buses. And the drivers, if they choose to do it, they could put it on their cell phone as well. They're required to do their pre and post trip inspections from that app on the tablets on the bus. That provider gives us the ability to put Google Forms on that app. So everyone has the ability to take the survey through that app. They also they have the option to submit discipline referral forms through that app. Student de-assignments, they're able to submit through that app. So they all have access, all the drivers have access to submit it through the app. So when the pay structure was approved, we don't post our pay scales. The school system just doesn't post pay scales. So we told them what the starting rate would be, and asked them to give payroll a couple weeks to get the numbers and get everything input. my understanding is, and I think I saw Shauna on the meeting, I believe they've been paid. Everybody should be aware now what they're making. I believe it went in, it started taking effect their first paycheck of this school year, which I believe was on the 20, I'm sorry, the 12th of September. Should have been in on the 12th of September. So they should all know. We just asked them to give payroll a week or two to get everything processed. Because we tell them as soon as stuff is approved, we let them know. I like it to come from us. So we are giving them the correct information and not hear it from each other. Does that answer your question?
And I'll add, we really haven't had a lot of questions or phone calls related to those changes. Most of it has been very positive feedback. I've only had the one call with one individual that we talked to that had some questions about no longer having that bonus or that supplement that they would get that we were paying for attendance. And we have every year we've put that bonus or that structure out. It says every year based on funding and the needs of, that it is an annual approval to continue. So when we look at some of that stuff, we're really trying to make sure we have the best interest, like what's going to impact the greatest number. So I'm sure there were probably some that were attending and really working towards making sure that they were eligible for all of those payments. And there could be some differences that maybe they noticed. But the increase in their pay was intended to make up for all of that difference.
Yeah, yeah. And I went over that with you and everything. I just wanted to make sure everyone was on the same page and we're all, yeah, that was why I wanted, yeah, that's why I wanted to make sure. And I know I did discuss that with you and we went over that and everything. That's why I'm saying I wanted to make sure that everyone should understand what's happening. I think there was some miscommunication somewhere down the line, but we should be good to go then. Yes, but you did answer my question. Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Oh, yes, absolutely. All right, so just a quick bus update. We received four of the 7 new replacement buses that we received from the state. We're waiting on our 3 propane buses. They're actually on the lot at the Gregory Pool dealership. They're waiting on DPI inspection, and then they'll let us know when we could pick those up. And then the CIP funding, we had 2 local service trucks. Those have been ordered. Our bus inspection.
Real quick on that.
I'm sorry.
How many different types of fueled buses do we have? Like propane, diesel? Is there anything else? Do we have electric or?
No, we just have propane and diesel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you know offhand like how the fleet's divided across the 2?
So the propane we have, this should make, when we get the 3 in, we should have 10 propane buses.
Okay.
Should be 10.
Have we had pretty good reliability and?
So far, the only issue, we've had 2 issues. One was a warranty issue. It was a quick fix. We actually had one go down the end of last week, and we think it's a fuel pump, but it is still under warranty. So we're waiting on International to come look at it. The ones that we have now, the current ones we have are all International. The 3 new ones we're getting are propane from Bluebird. And those Bluebird engines are the Ford. I don't know how familiar you guys are with engines, but it's a Ford 7.3 engine. It's just retrofitted for diesel, very reliable engine. So we're excited to get those. But so far the reliability's been, maintenance schedule on them was a lot easier to maintain than the diesel buses. When you talk about DPF issues, regeneration issues, turbo issues, the maintenance on them is a lot less. It's just oil changes, oil and brakes.
Great. Yeah.
All right, so our inspection score, we were inspected early in the summer. So our 2023 inspection score was a little higher. It was 40.89 for our yellow buses. Now keep in mind with the DPI inspection scores, lower the score, the better. So our yellow bus score was 40.89. When we had this inspection this past summer, it had dropped to a 27. So I'm very proud of our guys. We've worked hard. After the 2023 inspection, we changed the way we do things, especially in the summertime. Every bus comes in the shop, regardless of whether every bus has gone through from top to bottom. Everything is touched during the summertime instead of just what needs to be. We go over everything, and that has obviously paid off. Our activity bus score was 11.33 in 2023 and has dropped to 7.33. So once again, just the guys have done a fantastic job back there, maintaining things. So I'm proud of that, but I wanted you guys to be aware of that as well.
Yeah.
All right, so budget updates for us. 23-24 school year, we had a budget rating of 97.16% with net allotment from DPI of the 19,402,000. The preliminary budget rating that we've received this year with the initial funding allotment was 98.67%, which kind of the initial allotment is 20,647,000. The final adjustment will come this fall. Now our budget rating is depending on whatever the two highest numbers are. The first number is from a budget rating simulator the DPI uses to plug in our preliminary expenditures, the buses operated, and our student count, and it gives us the number. This is the simulator rating, the 98.67. The second number is what they call the model run, which compares county to county comparison. And then from those two numbers, they take the higher of the numbers. So the state and local expenditures plus the legislative increases what our initial funding is. So we got a small bump in initial funding this year. So. All right. So state count, I know you guys like to know about our counts. The Wolf state count, because they were on intercession, we had to perform those a couple weeks ago. Their last week they were in, that was from September 9th to 13th. The traditional schools are actually counting this week. So once we compile all that data, we'll be able to get you our ridership numbers from this count. We have to have everything turned in by October 18th to DPI. So once we get all those numbers, I can get that over to you guys. So you're aware of what our ridership counts are looking like so far this year. All right. And does anybody have any questions for me on anything?
I don't have a question, just a comment. Congratulations. I mean, that efficiency rating is amazing. I don't know
Thank
the
you.
last time we were at that high an efficiency rating. So congratulations to transportation.
Thank you. Yeah, our team, I tell people all the time, our team is fantastic and we can't do it alone. You know, Shauna and her team are wonderful with us, you know, calling, asking questions, and once again, the HR team with getting people in here. So we're excited to see some light at the end of that vacancy tunnel, and I would love to start slowly adding some buses back where it makes sense, especially in our areas that are growing. So.
Any other questions or comments? All right, appreciate the update. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, information to be taken to the full board. So we have basically approved here in SPIT the final site contract renewal to be taken to the full board for approval. And our next meeting is scheduled for October 23rd at 8 a.m. via Zoom. And with that, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.